Okay, ladies and gentlemen, coming right back at you once again with another amazing episode of your favorite podcast, Keeping It Real. It is Chuck, and I got my special guest in the house today, which is the roofing queen, straight out of San Antonio, the top sales rep for Flagstone Roofing and Exteriors. It is Melissa Blackwater. Melissa, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm really looking forward to our conversation today because I've been watching you for the last couple of months with your career, and I think you're doing amazing things. And I just kind of want to find out a little bit more about it. So, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how exactly did you find yourself in the wonderful, crazy world that is known as the roofing industry?
Well, my story started at the height of the pandemic. I was, I had been a professional college student for many years. I was a medical assistant, a nursing assistant, a phlebotomist, um, graduated as a veterinary assistant, and couldn't really figure out what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I knew I loved helping people and I loved helping animals. I just loved helping. So I found myself at the height of the pandemic, like everyone else, quarantined at home for about 7 months, and I started going crazy. And I was a bartender for 17 years as well. So that's what shut my career down, and I ended up at home. And I saw an ad on Facebook, believe it or not, Marketplace, and it was for a door-to-door sales company. And I thought, it's outdoors. You don't have to be in people's houses. You don't have to be in their faces. So I'll give it a try. And I started off with a very small mom and pop place in El Paso, Texas. And we were masked up, knocking doors. And I thought, I'm not going to last doing this a week. There's no way. It was hot. You're out there and in a mask and trying to pitch at the door. We weren't going in houses. We weren't, having that personal, little get together at the kitchen table. It was all at the door. So it was very straightforward, get to the point, those types of times. So it was really tough starting off in the roofing industry. Um, but I got my first commission check, and it was a Mr. John Moore. I remember him still, and we're Facebook friends to this day. He's in El Paso. I got his whole house redecked. He had undercoat decking and stuff like that. So it was a huge commission payout, and I'll never forget that. My first day on a ladder and climbing up on a ladder, I was very, very scared of heights. And I'm a feminine female, so you wouldn't expect to see a woman like me doing this type of job. But each day I kept going, and each week I kept going, and it's been, God, almost going on 5 years now, 4 years. So that I've been doing this now, and I've grown so much throughout, and I've learned so much. I've been with several companies, and I've been from El Paso to Savannah, Georgia to Chicago, and now I'm back out here to Central Texas. And I just I love this career. I love this field. I love this industry. It's ever growing. I get to learn a lot, and I never stop learning. I guess that's why I was always a professional college student, because I love to learn. So that's a
That's
little bit about where I've started from and where I've come from as far as the industry.
That's pretty awesome. And I'll be honest, I have a similar story when it came to like my sales career. Like the first thing that I started with was a storm. And I didn't have any experience in sales. I had been in distribution for like 15 years before I started in roofing sales. And I thought that was going to work for me. I thought people were going to really care about like, the shingle patterns and the nails and all this stuff. They didn't care one bit, right? It was Amarillo, Texas, and all they cared about was not paying anything out of pocket. And I was stuck because the company I was with was reputable, which is a great thing. And I'm very thankful for that. But I was there for like 2 months and I didn't sell a single roof. And I got extremely discouraged. I actually was like trying to quit the industry, but it'll never let you fully leave. So when you first started, obviously you don't just go out and like bust this huge deal right off the bat. Like there has to be a little bit of struggle, right? You've got to get kicked in the teeth a little bit and build a little bit of character. So tell me a little bit about the early days when you started going out. Like you said, it's during pandemic. People are weird as it is about door knocking, but then when you're doing it during the pandemic, it's like even weirder. Like what kind of stories do you have about those early days that really show, like perseverance. If I didn't take these kind of crappy moments, who knows? I probably wouldn't have stuck around, or it wouldn't have made me who I am.
Absolutely. Yes. All those defining moments are definitely the reason why I am as far as where I am right now and how far I've come. I've definitely gone through a lot of growth and I've grown, I still go through those days where you get your teeth kicked in at the door and you hear a million no's. People think, oh, you don't got to knock doors no more. Well, I still knock doors. I still got to go out there and generate business. I do get a lot of my leads through Sky Diamonds University. So I've pretty much not had to knock a door since I've been here in San Antonio and since I've started with Flagstone Roofing and did their Sky Diamonds and doing the advertising and stuff like that. I'm getting a lot of leads. But coming back from the very, very beginning, yeah, getting your teeth kicked in. And like I said, I had this little cheap telescopic ladder. I was in a Toyota Yaris and I was driving all over El Paso, Texas. And they don't have storms like here in central Texas. They're up, northern. So their last storm we were working was at a year old. So we were working old storms. So we were actually working storms that we would use date of discovery instead of the storm date because the storm date was already nearing its expiration time. And it was just, those were the wild times, man. They were definitely the wild times. A lot of no's, a lot of um doors slammed in your face and angry people, and the height of the pandemic, a lot of people were just grumpy, and it was just, it's, door knocking is not for the weak. I'm not gonna lie, it's not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of grind, it's a lot of grit. You're in the heat. um Especially here in Central Texas and San Antonio, people warned me about the humidity and the heat here, and I thought I was prepared because I went to Savannah, Georgia last year and Chicago. But man, Central Texas heat over here in San Antonio is something else. It was my first summer out here and it was a rough summer, but I made it through the summer.
Well, I'll tell you what, I actually spent this summer in Florida. I was in Naples working with Lee Haight over at Sky Diamonds, getting ready for his conference. And I got back here, like 3 days ago. And to me, it was crazy because it's super hot here. I was driving around yesterday with my windows down thinking, damn, it is nice here. And it was like 103 degrees, but it's just a different heat than what they had over there. So it took me a while to get used to it. As soon as I got used to it, I had to get out of that Florida climate back here to beautiful, dry, hot as Hades, Texas. And I love it here. So you came down to San Antonio. What led you down here? Like you just said, you kind of moved around a little bit. Was it just because of the roofing experience, or was there something else that brought you to San Antonio?
Nope, it was strictly roofing. Yes. Last season I had worked with the company, and like I said, I was in Savannah, Georgia and Chicago, Illinois. And I had went home in September. I was missing home, I was missing family, and wanted to reconnect with my kids and have the holidays and stuff. And um, by December, I was itching to get back on a roof. I couldn't sit still. I just wanted to be on a roof so desperately. So I had a friend, Mike Haltom. He reached out to me and said, hey, I got a good deal over here with us. I got a package deal. Like, if you come, you get this, as far as compensation and stuff. He worked out a really good deal for me. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna jump ship. And people think I'm crazy because I'll just go with the wind and, go with the company and just go get on roofs. But that's what I love to do. And I always told myself, and I love, in this roofing space, a lot of people that, at the conferences and such, people talk about speaking it into existence. When I was working for a small mom and pop company and I started out in El Paso at the height of the pandemic, I always told my boss, I want to be a storm chaser. I want to go chase big storms. I want to go get on a lot of roofs. I want to sell a lot of roofs. I want to, do this, and this. And his capacity to do that just wasn't there. So I had to outgrow that shell and, move on. And I did. And I've broken through barrier after barrier after barrier. And being a woman in this industry, it's just, you don't see very many of us. And if you do, they don't stick around for very long. Like I said, it's a predominantly male dominated industry. And that's another thing I want to speak into existence is I too want to be on the Sky Diamonds Blue Collar American Dream Conference stage next year, representing women across the stage, because I feel like this year with the conference, they did an amazing job. But as far as women representing in the industry, it was more of like admin, office, secretarial, stuff like that, supplementing, stuff like that. There was no like real, like, here's some sales ladies out there door to door in the grind, in the grit, on a roof, getting shit done.
I love that, and I'm all for it 100%. That's one thing I've always been very supportive of is having more females in our industry in sales, especially because, like you said, I mean, it's not super, super rare, but there's not enough. And I've never been able to find the perfect person to train and bring in and stick with my own roofing businesses ever. But I can see that there would be an advantage to having a female salesperson that, some of the guys have problems with things. But let me ask you this, that goes both ways. You just said this is a predominantly, and I hate to even say that, but I guess statistically speaking, it's true, predominantly male oriented industry. Homeowners have a specific perception as well, to a certain degree, right? So have you had any kind of problems being a woman in the industry, going out to a homeowner, trying to explain to an old man who maybe is like, old school or whatever, and, getting yourself the credibility? Have you had any struggles when it comes to that? And how have you overcome those struggles if you have in fact had them?
Absolutely. My very, very, very keen memory of having my very first like aha moment of realizing like, oh my gosh, this is happening was in Chicago, Illinois. I had walked up to this gentleman. It was a lead. The office sent me the address and stuff. So I showed up and got my tool belt on and I'm ready to go. Got my ladder, roofing queen on the job. And I walk up and this gentleman won't even shake my hand. I walk up to shake his hand and introduce myself, and he just steps back and looks at me up and down and says, I called a roofing company and they sent me you. And I said,
Mm.
absolutely. I'm the best person for the job. And I smiled real big and he goes, oh, okay, really? Like this guy was a hard ass. And he was straight to the point. He said, I got hail on one slope and no hail on the other slope. You're not going to get my insurance out here to come out here and cover it. They're not going to cover it. They're going to deny it. I want a retail out of pocket bid. And I told him, absolutely not. Let me do my free assessment. Let me do my due diligence. Just let me look on the roof first. Let's just take a look. So he lets me up there and I tell him, yeah, you're absolutely right. You have hail on one side, but not on one side. It's going to be a fight, but we're good at what we do. And so he said, okay, Melissa, well, by the time the conversation's done, I had him signed on a contingency and he was like, oh, I already called in the claim. The adjuster's coming out in 2 days. So we came out, met the adjuster. We got his full roof replaced, got metal awnings for his window, garage roof, gutters, downspouts, window vinyls, frame. I mean, the works, aluminum fascia, all of it. I mean, it was a nice little claim. And this guy, he was a hard ass throughout the whole process and was questioning me. And I was just kept, giving him the facts and giving him the value that I was going to add to him and to, the company that I'm working for, the value we're going to add for him and his home and what we're going to do for him and stuff like that. And I just kept professional and kept doing my job. And by the end of it, he shook my hand really firm and he thanked me very much for my services. And he was completely satisfied and he gave me a firm handshake. But I have dealt with, that side of being a woman where people look at you and they think, oh, well, she doesn't know what she's doing because she's a woman and she's in a male dominated space. It's a construction space. It's not for women, typically. And then you get the double-edged sword too, where you get homeowners, husband and wife, where you get the wife kind of looking at you sideways too, because you're a good-looking female and you're talking to her husband and her about their roof, and they're looking at you like, but I learned to talk quick and fast and hard and give out all the knowledge that I've obtained. And, sometimes I word vomit, but I have to so that they can see that I am a credible source. They can hear that when I start talking about roofing, when I start talking about products, when I start talking about installation, insurance issues, stuff like that, that they know I know what I'm talking about.
Yep. And that's all that matters at the end of the day, is that you're the best person for the job and you know how to prove it. And the fact that you don't get flustered when that happens is amazing, because most people do. They lose it and it's like, and they never end up getting the deal. And I always tell people my favorite, it's not my favorite, actually, is one of my least favorite, but one of my most memorable deals I ever got. This guy literally told me, it was like less than 30 seconds in, get the F out of my house. We're done. And I somehow clawed my way back in from that. And this guy was like a major person in town. He was well known and all that. And I somehow clawed my way back in. And I feel like that moment changed my career. And I can really sense that that was the day when it was like, okay, cool, you can do this. And that guy, as big of a badass as he thought he was, like, he just told me to leave. And then at the end, he was begging me to stay. So I can definitely appreciate that. And that's what this is all about for me. It's about helping people. It's about overcoming that, I want to say, lack of trust, or, just the hesitance that a lot of people have. We're not the most popular people in the world for them. Nobody really ever wants to call the roofer to come out. It's always bad news. So, like, we have to do it with our personalities. And I think that's really, what shines for you is your personality as well. You can tell that you really want to be there to help people, that it's genuine. Like, I see your Facebook, you're getting up at like 3 a.m. and like doing like 27 houses a day with all these different roofing crews, and going home at midnight and then getting up and doing it again. So tell me about like a typical day for you, if there is such a thing. I know in roofing sales, there's really no such thing as a typical day, because you could see some crazy shit any given day. And there could be days where you don't see anything. But what's a normal, air quote, normal day for Melissa look like out here in San Antonio with roofing?
A normal day for Melissa out in San Antonio for roofing is waking up at 5, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning. I usually got quite a few builds going on during the week, so I am considered a profit sharing partner in Flagstone Roofing. So I take from beginning of the very inspection to filing the claim to building the roof, material ordering, project managing, material. If the roofers need materials, I run and grab them. I do the thing from very beginning to very end with little to no help. The back end support of the admin team, we get, supplementing and stuff like that. But all of the work that I do is myself, and that's why I'm a profit sharing partner and I make a larger commission, is because I do all of the work. So I do work 14, 16 plus hours a day some days. A lot of the weeks I work 6 days a week. I was working 7 days a week, but I kind of had to take a little pause and give myself Sundays off to like breathe and, recollect for the week and plan and stuff like that, because it was just days were rolling on into days and I couldn't tell which week or day was up or down.
I know the
So
feeling,
yeah, it's
believe
very
me.
busy.
Yep. And
Very
that's the
busy.
cool
And
thing about it.
I just started training a new team down here too. So they had me relocate down here to San Antonio to open up the market here, and I opened it up. So now they've got a team under me that I'm training. So I've got to be hands-on training on roofs, making sure that these guys are successful as well, because we've got a lot of newer, hungry blood that's in the system that's coming in, that these people are wanting to work and they're wanting to make money and be successful. And to me, I feel like that's on us, veterans, I should say, to, get these people up to speed and get them trained and get them to be knowledgeable to where they're not filing illegitimate claims. They're filing claims with 8 to 12 hail hits, all the specifications are met and stuff like that. And they're just on a good path to be successful, because I know that this industry has afforded me more than I could ever imagine. I mean, I've gone from, like I told you, all the careers that I had to doing what I'm doing now. I'm making what I used to make in a year in a month. So it's a very, very, very successful career here in the roofing space.
It's amazing. And I absolutely love to hear that, because that's what most people don't ever really take into account. They look down on roofing and they say, whatever, it's a dirty trade. I'm above that. I do whatever, and I don't get my hands dirty. But the fact of the matter is, like Lee said, you solve big problems for big paychecks. And I've never seen someone of limited ability like myself be able to pull paychecks like you can, just doing the right thing by helping people. And that's what I love about our industry. So the other thing I really love, you just hit on, is I love training people. It's my favorite thing to do, to take someone who's brand new and show them the ropes, show them how to go out and like get that first deal, show them how to help the homeowner get through that entire process. And at the end, see the look on their face when they get that first check. So you're training teams now in San Antonio, which is scary because I have a little bit of roofing business here in San Antonio. But that's awesome. I want to know, what does your training program look like? How many people are you training at a time? How are you training them? Are you doing like a one-on-one individual? Are you doing group setting? What do you focus on when you do your training? And don't give all your secrets away, obviously, but what's it look like when you're training a team to make them go out there and be successful and keep them hungry and motivated?
Well, as you know, this industry is like a revolving door. So sales is you're going to have a bunch that go through the system. So a couple weeks ago, I started with 6 people on my team. I'm down to 2. So it's the ones that are going to die off and that aren't going to last, they're going to die off right away. They're going to piddle out. They're not going to stick around. They're not going to be motivated. To be in this industry, you have to be very self-motivated. You have to be very determined. You have to have a go get them, like, hungry mentality. You got to want that paycheck. It's not going to come to you. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It is a commission sales based job. So, a lot of the times I only have 1 or 2 really, like right now, I have 2 core guys that have stuck for, 4+ weeks now going on. So they're signing deals. I'm just the ones that stick around. I'm investing my time, my energy, and my resources into them. And I'm really getting hands-on with them, getting on the roof with them, showing them exactly what to look for when issues arise, just handle things as they arise, basically. Prioritize.
Yep. And I figure if you've got 2 people that have lasted 4 weeks, they're going to be keepers because, like you said, they usually don't last. I've had people that like didn't last like 2-3 hours. I'm going to the car real quick, and then you never see them again.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me because it's like, all right, see you later. And then these people follow you on social media later on down the road, and they come back to you and they're like, oh, dude, you should give me another chance, or you should let me come work with you. What you're doing looks like so much fun. And it's like, yeah, right, bro. Like, you lasted 4 hours. Why the hell would I give you another chance? Maybe if I do, you'll last an entire day next time. But when you get the ones that are motivated, that are engaged, I'll always remember this. The first person I hired for my company here, Rio Blanco in San Antonio, it's a guy named Jeremy, and he has a company now here in San Antonio as well. And when I hired Jeremy, he had 0 experience. Like, he didn't know anything about roofing. He was a bartender. He was a server for many, many years, which is the perfect ideal person because he knew how to deal with belligerent people. Honestly, bartenders are great because no homeowner can yell at a bartender like they get yelled at by those rich bastards that they're serving drinks to, right? But I brought him in and I spent the time training him. And it was the same deal. It was like a one-on-one thing. I spent like 3 months just saying, okay, if I got to get one person, I want one person that's really, really good. I trained him up on how to be really, really good. And I'll never forget the first time he called me. It was a Saturday night and it was like 7:00. And I'm like, what's going on here? This is kind of weird. And Jeremy's all excited. He's like, dude, man, this lady, she called me and she was going to cancel and go with another roofing company. And I held her on the phone. I was on the phone with her for an hour, dude. And I'm signing the deal tomorrow. Like, she's going with us. We're going to upsell. She got like a whole redeck. She got all this stuff done. And he was so excited by that. And it was like, in that moment, I felt like it was better than the first sale that I ever made. It was better than any award I ever did, anything that I ever accomplished myself. And I just thought, man, this is what I really want to do. So when you start training people, you start seeing that success. Obviously, you love what you're doing right now, being on the roofs all the time. And trust me, I get it. I'm texting people like, can I go look at a roof for you today? I'm just bored. I want to go look at a roof. I've been on one in like 4 months. And do you plan on at some point just maybe doing a transitional role where you say, okay, rather than me going out and selling, I'm going to build a team. I'm going to make an absolute killer sales force. I'm going to teach them how to be me. and then kind of sit back and let them do it for you? Or do you plan on being hands on for your whole career?
I always wanted to, sit back and let everyone, do their thing and make me some money. But at the same time, I'm such a workaholic that I don't think I'll ever like fully be like hands off. But I do want to yeah, I want to get a whole sales force where I've got a massive sales force selling under me and, just crushing and paving the way for everyone else. That's the main goal, is to just teach everyone I can everything I know about this industry. Like you said, the main reason why we do this is our homeowners, and I have so many stories. And I was thinking about it the other day because I had this little old lady, she's in a wheelchair, disabled, got a threatening letter from State Farm saying that if she didn't have her roof redone by the end of the month, they were going to drop her. And she had a 22-year-old three tab, a 20-year three tab. Um, and it was disco, had storm damage. So I went out there and I helped her file her claim, and we got her roof replaced through the insurance. It was a long fight, and it was, a battle with them, of course. And they did a detach and reset on the solar, and it was phenomenal. But to see her and have her tears, and just like she was so joyous and so happy and so thankful. I have so many of those stories, and I was just recollecting on a few of them the other day, and I was like, man, each time I get a good story and where I get like this huge win against the insurance company for my homeowners, there comes another one that's even bigger. I just got that house recently redecked through the insurance. They were trying to pay us to do an overlay on the plywood. It was under code. I could tell just as soon as I walked on the roof. And so I made sure the homeowner had code upgrade, and they did. So we addressed it, and they wanted to see the thickness, showed it to them. Well, they wanted to do an overlay, and we kept telling them, we got to remove and replace. We can't overlay, So I spent 16 hours one day and 8 hours one day with the roofers, tearing off the whole roof, and taking at least 300 photos, 18 videos, and sent it all to the adjuster. And within a matter of minutes, he emailed back and said, "Okay, I'm gonna approve for remove and replace on the decking." So, and it was still a fight getting him to get the revised estimate to us and stuff. But it's those wins, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and each time you get a win for a homeowner, it's such a gratifying feeling. And like you said, just to pass that on to someone else and get to see like your little baby grow up, it's like you feel like a proud mama moment, when you see your sales reps out there doing good big things and making the money that they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. I had this kid on my team named Brett, and he was a metal guy at a roofing company that I worked for years. Super shy, quiet, never really said anything, just kind of a all shucks, but he was like the hardest working guy ever, absolute perfectionist, and just a super guy. And I remember when he came to work with me, I found him. He was over in Pennsylvania doing roof coatings, and I called him up and I was like, Brett, man, I want to help you do something that you don't even think you can possibly do, which is I want to help you sell a roof and make like a huge paycheck. And he was, oh, I don't really want to do that. That's not really my thing. Well, he came down, and here in San Antonio, he sold an $85,000 metal roof. And it was crazy because he was a metal expert, and his whole thing was, I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at sales. And I'm like, dude, that's what's so good about you. You're not good at sales. That's why people want to buy from you, because nobody thinks you're trying to sell them. You're literally just explaining it to them in a way that makes sense. And then they're able to justify it because they understand. And I've always thought, those are the best kind of salespeople. What about you? When you're bringing new people on, you're onboarding, do you like people that are like super outgoing, that feel like they can just go and sell anything? Or do you like to have people that maybe are just a little bit kind of, in a shell, and you can help them break out of the shell and then see them become a completely different person?
I like both, and I've had both. I'm not gonna lie, I do like having the guys that are just a little bit more self-confident and more like myself. They're just, go get it. They're on the door that day. They're shadowing you one day, and by the end of that afternoon, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go knock my first door. I'm like, yes, let's go. It's the shy ones that are like, okay, in 3 or 4 days, I'll knock my first door. You know what I mean? those you got to nurture those ones a little bit different. But they're nonetheless they're both winners in my book. I mean, like you said, there's people that you can easily train and teach a lot to, and there's people that, you know, already think they know everything. And in this industry, you can't possibly know everything. It's
Yeah, well,
ever
I know
growing
3 or
and
4
ever.
people that know everything, and they'll be happy to tell you about it for sure. But you're right. I always like taking someone that has no experience and just saying, "Okay, look, listen to what I tell you. I'll show you exactly how to do it." There's like literally nothing special about me other than the fact that I'm willing to just go try stuff and I'm willing to just do stuff because at the end of the day, I come to realize you're going to die eventually anyway. So we only get one time around this planet. Let's just see what we can do. Right. So I'll make weird, bold proclamations to new people like, we're going to sign this deal today. We're going to one call close this deal. And it's stupid because you know for a fact that that doesn't happen every time, but it puts extra pressure on me. And I've actually done that many times where I say, like, we're going to sell this deal today before I even get there. And the first thing they say is, we're not signing anything today. And okay, cool. We go outside and it's like, all right, we got them right where we want them. You know, like they're just saying that because they're trying to convince themselves. They already know they want to buy today. And we go
Yep.
in and we get the deal. And when you can see that transformation in someone's head from when they didn't believe at all in what you were about to do, and you firmly believe, like, I know if I say I'm going to get a deal and I don't, the new person that I just hired that looks up to me as a authority or you know, whatever, is going to think I'm an idiot. And then you lose all your credibility. And it's like, well, hell, I don't want to work with this guy. He's stupid. He says he's going to do stuff and he doesn't. So I always rise to the occasion when I do that. But it's that moment when you can see the person really all of a sudden get that belief in it, because it does take a while, right? Even after 4 weeks, have your sales reps gotten a paycheck yet? 4 weeks
Oh
in?
yeah,
They
absolutely.
do?
Yes,
Well, that's
yes,
good. That's better than
yes,
most of the industry. Like our industry
yes.
is it's tough. It takes a while. And I tell people, you have to really be crazy or you have to be good with money or both, because it takes like 90 days to really get yourself rolling and really start getting that pipeline. And when you see people get discouraged, you try to find that moment with them. And it's like, okay, let's go sell a roof real quick. I'll go do this and I'll give you this deal. And you see the change in their mind when it's like, holy shit, he just said he was going to do that and he did it. Like, that's magic. That's why I love what I do with this, with the training. And to me, I think there's nothing better. I'd rather sell that than I'd sell a roof to a homeowner any day of the week. Selling the dream and selling the reality of it to people is so much fun, right?
It is. Yes, absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right. So, Melissa, let me ask you this. I've seen your stuff. You said just recently you want to be a speaker at the Blue Collar American Dream Conference next year, which I highly respect. And I have a little bit of pull. I could probably make that happen, I think. Or at least I could give a good suggestion to Lee. I have his personal phone number. So we're going to
Oh,
make that
okay,
happen.
awesome.
I did the same thing last year. I told the people that I was with that I was going to be a speaker on stage at Lee's event, and I did it this year. So it is attainable. And I want to make sure that you do that. So we're putting that out publicly to the world so that they know that Melissa, the roofing queen, will be speaking as a top female sales representative in our industry. And your goal is to raise the status, just like Lee says, he wants to raise the status of the blue collar. You want to raise the status of the female sales representatives in our industry. Let me ask you this. This is the bazillion-dollar question, my friend. What do we need to do to get more female sales reps to come in, to be interested, and then to stay in our industry?
We need to recruit them. We need to bring them in, and we need to nurture them. We need to love them, and we need to, you know, train them up. A lot of females, when they get in the industry, it's I've noticed they want to butt heads, or they want to, you know, attitude. There's that whole stigma of being a woman and being in a male dominated industry, you know. So I've noticed that in other companies where females were, you know, when other females were brought in, that they were kind of catty and there was attitude and stuff like that. So that's one thing that, you know, we need to change as women all together. Is just we need to become more united instead of against each other. We need to come united and get more women involved and just broaden our reach.
Couldn't agree more. I think that's exactly what we need to do. And I'm here to do whatever I can to help that because I do think it's important. And I do think that there are a lot of people out there that maybe are not doing as well as they could be in life. And they just don't want to give this a chance because it's just one of those things that they look down upon. And it's like, damn, if you only knew, like, a six-figure income is not that hard to achieve when you're doing this. And when you're doing it right, it's actually kind of easy. So I think that's great. You're going to talk about that at the conference next year, but let's talk about the conference this year. It just came up last week. That was the first event of that sort that you have ever been to, correct?
Absolutely correct. Yes, it was the first conference that I've ever been to. And let me tell you, it lit a fire inside of my spirit and inside of my soul. I mean, it's got me come back to where I'm listening to daily meditations, I'm working out again. I haven't been to the gym in years, so if that tells you anything.
It's a good time to start, though, right? There's always a good time to
Absolutely.
start, and it's always right now.
Well, and that's the thing that I noticed is that with every single speaker that was there, that was successful in multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar industry, people, they all had similar things in common, which was they took care of their health, they worked out, they took care of their physical body. They took care of their emotional and mental body with meditation, daily affirmations, stuff like that. And again, no alcohol, abstinence of alcohol. I'm day 7 alcohol free, so I've also given up alcohol because I noticed that that was a commonality with all the people there as well. So I'm just trying to take things that I'm learning and seeing from other successful people and bring them into my life to make my life better and to help myself be more successful and attain all the dreams and all the things that I am aspiring for. I'm on track to sell my first million this year, so that's pretty exciting for me. Like I've started out with some smaller mom and pop companies, so I think the most I've ever done is like 80 or 90K. So this year I'm gonna hit over a million, so I'm pretty excited. I'm
Yep,
getting a
that's
Rolex.
awesome. Hell yeah, you're getting a Rolex. That's amazing, and I love it because, you went to the event, and sadly, our industry is filled with like all kinds of drama. There's all kinds of stupid stuff that happens, amongst people, and some people just won't even have an open mind about going to attend things because of what's going on and whatnot. But you and your entire team were there. You were sitting in the chuck seat, which is the front row, and I just thought, this is why she is doing so well in San Antonio. And a couple months ago, I used you as an example when I was talking to one of my friends about what they needed to do to get themselves, moving forward in their career. And it was like, you need to follow her because she is going places. She's showing things, she's doing it, and is out there every day putting multiple roofs on. Um, the Sky Diamonds aspect of it obviously is pretty big. And this was something that after I went to work with Lee, I went there in June and I was there all the way until the end of the conference, right? And from
Right.
the 1st of June till then, I got to be around Lee quite a bit. I got to watch and listen to him and do all that stuff. And I got to do extensive training with Sky Diamonds, with the sales team and everybody there. And I was watching these videos one day, right, on Facebook Reels, and it was you, and you were just like standing in front of a house telling a story, and it instantly hit me. I was like, holy cow, like she is using the exact script as it was written out by Lee Haight. I know that it works because I watched it, and you were at like 26,000 views or something like that, like a while ago. How many views do you have on that video now? And tell me a little bit about the idea behind doing it. Was it something that was hard for you getting on camera and actually like throwing that energy out like you did, because you have to be different. It's not like, hi, I am Melissa and I am here
You
talking
have to
to.
be so extra. Yes, you have to be high energy. You have to be like super extra. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning. You have to download a teleprompter app and put in your script and it's rolling. So you're literally like you're on TV. So you have to read without sounding like you're reading. You have to hold the high energy. You have to use, Italian hands, use your hands. It's a whole new ball game. It's a whole new different beast of its own. Um, Justin just kind of threw me in there and was like, Melissa, I need you to do these ads. This is how you do it. And I said, okay. And I'm like, I suck at it. And he goes, no, you'll get better. Just keep practicing, keep getting on the roofs and keep doing the videos. And I'm like, okay. So I keep practicing, and he's right. It absolutely works. I mean, Sky Diamonds, their marketing, their advertising, those videos, they absolutely work because they resonate with people. They're more relatable for people. You know, you tell stories that are relatable. People think, oh, I can't see the hail from here. I'm fine. Well, no, it's not visible from the ground. You know, you give them legitimate information that they can use. And that's what people use the internet for. You know, they're looking for information all the time.
Yep. I love it because you're providing it for them. You're giving it to them in a nice, energetic presentation. They're looking at it saying, oh, wow, like these are really results that are happening here in our hometown. And I think it's awesome because, like I said, 26,000 was what I saw last time. How many leads do you think you have gotten off of that one video?
Whew, I don't even know, Chuck. At one point, I had 3 or 4 leads coming in per day, sometimes 5 or 6 leads coming in a day. I mean, the video got, I think, over 40,000 views is what I
And it's still
last
probably
saw
adding
that.
up today as we
It's probably
speak.
still growing, yeah. But Justin's always on me about keeping the algorithm fresh and keeping it new. So like I need to record videos. He wants me to record them like on a weekly basis because you want to keep the information that you're putting out there, new, hot, fresh, like in the algorithm with Facebook and stuff like that. You want to keep the videos to where they're streaming and they're popping up for people when they're searching roofs or when they're looking up stuff or when they talk to their phone, how your phone listens to you.
Oh yeah, mine's listening to me all the time. It's telling me that I want all kinds of stuff I can't afford right now, but I can appreciate that. So what you're saying is basically if you take these scripts that Lee has come up with, I see all this stuff where people are like, Lee, he's not this, he's not what he claims. I guarantee this guy's exactly what he says he is, which is a door-to-door specialist. He's the greatest in the country, and he makes those ads better than anybody. And I watch him constantly and I study them. And when I got to be around him, I realized, okay, there's definitely a method to the madness with this dude, and he's definitely got it figured out. And the reality is, with one of those videos, you became a superpower here in San Antonio. And you're literally getting people to come directly to you and say, I want you to do my roof. You eliminated all your competition basically because you were brave enough to get on camera and actually put something out there that said, I'm the best option for you, homeowner. Y'all need to use me, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you won't even believe how many times when I get in front of a homeowner now and they're like, oh my God, you're the one on the video. You're a movie star. And I'm just like, oh my God. It's kind of, I have to like, okay, calm down. I
Right.
get
Like
pretty
my
excited
head's
about
not too big about it, but like we were at the Blue Collar
it.
American Dream and I had people that came up were like, we want to get pictures with you. We want to get, and I'm just like, what in the hell is going on here? But okay, if you've got to look up to somebody, it might as well be me, I guess. But I think that's really cool. And I really admire your spirit. I admire the fact that you're willing to go out there and work hard. You're training people. You've got a team first mentality. I think that really is something that's lacking for a lot of people in the industry and just in the world in general, right? Like most people are willing to take whatever you're willing to give. And then when it's time to reciprocate, they usually just vanish. And it's very important to have people who are willing to give themselves, knowing that probably at the end of the day, you're never going to get fully repaid for the effort that you're putting into these other people, for what you're putting into your team, for what you're putting into the industry, but knowing that it's for the greater good and doing it anyway. Very noble. So I appreciate that. Um,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I always love to ask this question, and you've gotten so many of the really good people. You told a great story about helping a nice older lady, getting her house taken care of, and she's crying and this and that, and she was going to lose her insurance, and how amazing that feels. And I agree, that's the best part of it. But we all got them horror stories too. So, what is the absolute worst experience that you have ever had that you're willing to publicly discuss as a roofing salesperson in your career? Because I got some really, 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 really bad ones, and I'm just sure that you've got at least one that you'd be willing to share that's like, damn, she's a
Oh
champ for
yeah,
going through with that.
absolutely. Um, it's probably the more recent sting that I had, and it was in my career where I finally had to learn that we can choose our clients too. Just like your homeowner can choose who their contractor is, we can choose who our clients are, and that's okay. That's okay. You got to be professional and you got to be courteous and you got to, keep a level mind and mouth and heart about you. But I had this gentleman that, was on the fence and was like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to go with you or this other company. So I looked at his roof and I got on his neighbor's roof and I was inspecting his neighbor's roof and he wasn't ready to sign. So I went to his neighbor's roof. Well, Mammoth Roofing came out, and that was who my competition was in that neighborhood in Seguin. And they were up on his roof. And a couple days later, he calls me and says, Melissa, my adjuster is going to be here in 2 days at 8 a.m. I need you out here. And I said, okay, sir. Well, I'm going to need you to sign this contingency agreement stating that if I help you get the insurance to pay for the roof, that we're going to be the ones to do the job because you weren't decided a couple of days ago on who your contractor was going to be. And he said, oh, no, 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 no. Mammoth can't come out. They haven't communicated with me. I'm going with you guys. It's no big deal. I said, okay, I'll come early so we can sign the documents. So I showed up early, have the documents, I'm explaining it. And he goes, no, 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 no. No, I'm not signing this. I want you to meet with my adjuster and then we'll figure things out and I'll make my decision then. And just then the adjuster pulls up. And I told him, okay, sir, well, I'm going to get in my truck and I'm going to go about my day because I'm not going to waste my time meeting with your insurance adjuster and getting you a nice big fat check for your roof. And then you're going to kick me to the curb. I said, I would just rather save my time. So I'm not going to. And he goes, no, 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 I'll sign. So, and I told him, be sure you're not signing just, to shut me up. So I'll meet with your adjuster. You're signing so that I can build your roof. And he goes, oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, met with the adjuster. Everything was good. And I just had a feeling, these feelings about these people, those
Homeowners.
ones. Yes. And he calls me a couple days later. I've been reaching out to him for the insurance scope of loss to see if it had came in yet. And he was like, yeah, it came in. And he wouldn't send it to me. And he was trying to, well, I don't like this contingency agreement that I signed and this and that, started to like backtrack on the whole deal. So I told him, I said, you know what, sir, I'm going to stop you right there. I said, because up until this point, you've been a big red flag to me. And I don't feel like that this is going to necessarily be a good fit for us. So I wish you well and good luck with getting your roof fixed, and wished him well and walked away. And
I
he was
like
like,
that.
he goes, I can't believe that just actually happened like that.
Sometimes you have to do it. I had a lady in College Station one day. I stayed in her house for an entire day and she was a chain smoker. I smelled like cigarettes for like a week afterwards. I'm allergic to dogs. Her dog was all over me. She had a flat roof. It was a mess. I told her, you know what? This is what it's going to take. Oh, so and so roofer can do it. And I looked her in the eye and I said, well, then just go ahead and have them do it. And I mean, she was begging me, please, 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 please. And I was like, nope, sorry, it doesn't work that way. Just because you want me doesn't mean that we're a good fit. And I think that a lot of salespeople need to learn that lesson as quickly as possible. Get that really, really bad one out of the way, like your first homeowner. And if it doesn't kill you, you just learn from it and you never have to deal with it again. But it's crazy because that's, people when they see the money or when they get the results that they were looking for, they tend to forget what we've done for them. And just being able to say, you know what, screw you, I'm going home, I don't want to work with you. That's a great attitude. And that's why you're going to continue to succeed and be a multi-million-dollar producer, because you're not going to be stuck dealing with a bunch of garbage and trying to deal with, the headache. So that's pretty amazing. We are coming up on 50 minutes of our podcast. I got a couple more things I want to talk about. I always try to keep these around an hour. So I got 10 minutes here and I wanted to talk about a couple things. Number one, I wanted to ask you, with what you're doing, being a successful person in the industry, teaching teams, doing things like this, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but Have you ever thought about starting your own roofing company and going that route?
Absolutely. And that is on my vision board. That is going to be in the future. Yes, I will have my own roofing company.
Nice. Is it going to be here in San Antonio?
Absolutely, yes. I have really like relocated and implanted myself and my life here in San Antonio. I love the city. I love the people here. I love the traffic. I love San Antonio. So this is my home and this is where my kids are gonna come visit and family is gonna come and yeah, San Antonio is home.
I respect that. I've been here for almost 5 years myself, and I was thinking about it the other day. It's like, I don't know why I love San Antonio because honestly, everything that I came here to accomplish has not happened yet, but I still like it here. And it's still like one of the coolest towns in America. So I consider it home too. And I have some plans for things that are going to hopefully develop here in the near future. And hopefully things, they work out and I can stay here and just enjoy this place for the rest of my life too. Cause I've moved around a lot, just like you. I've been all over the place. I've done all kinds of weird stuff with the industry and I'm super happy to be here. So you're
Well,
building a huge presence. You're the queen of roofing. People are following you. You've got 40K views. You're getting like hundreds of leads online. People in the industry need to know who you are, Melissa. I'm looking at your deal here, and I'm not going to lie. You only have like 650 Facebook friends. You got
I
to get more famous
know.
than that, right?
I know. I'm
So what are
trying.
we going to do? How are we going to
Actually,
blow
the
up your
the
brand?
list the list grew from the conference, believe it or not. I gained so many more friends from the conference. Like while I was at the conference, I'm getting Facebook friends and I'm like, "Oh, hey, I seen him." So yeah, I definitely need to expand that and I'm trying to. I do That's on my other like dream board, vision board is to be like social media famous. I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, I have it all. So I'm trying to brand myself. I'm going to be coming out with some merch as well, some t-shirts, some Roofing Queen t-shirts, maybe some hats. But yeah, I'm branding myself and getting my name out there, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Roofing queen shirts and hats. That's what the world needs. And we
See,
didn't
and
even
I
know it. So that's going to be
even got
tremendous.
came
You got
out
the whole
Roofing
deal
Queen
going on.
style. See.
Exactly. Now, I think that's really, really awesome. And I love the fact that you're taking it to that extreme because, again, that's where the results are. People that are not afraid to just put themselves out there and say, damn it, you need to buy a shirt with my face on it, which I haven't even gotten to that point yet. But soon enough, I'll do that stupid, the Chuck face shirt. I'm working on yard signs that have my face on them and everything right now. So I think that's awesome.
Nice.
If we're going to build your social media brand, here's a good opportunity. A lot of people do get to watch this show. I don't know how many, and I'm probably delusional in thinking that it's way more than it really is, but I feel like we reach millions of people every single day. I told the girl that was on the other day that Oprah Winfrey watches this. I don't know if
I
that's
watched
true
that
or not,
episode.
but it sounded good, right? So, Oprah, if you're
It did.
watching, yeah. So, how do people follow you? What's the best channel to get a hold of you if someone's got a question, if they want to just reach out and say, hey, I started in the industry like 2 months
Absolutely.
ago. I'm a girl and I'm proud of this because of you. What's the best way they can do that?
Facebook. Facebook is
All
my
right.
main platform that I use, and I get a lot of. I do have some friends that are females in the industry and males in the industry that reach out to me on Facebook and ask me questions and advice here and there. Or how do I work this file, or how do I do that? So Facebook is my main line of communication.
I like it. And that's where I met you on Facebook and I see all your good videos, all your content. You're switching it up a little bit now from just not being just professional to like also showing a personal side. And that's something that I learned a little while ago. You've got to do as well. People have to really be able to relate to you in order to want to work with you. And you're doing an amazing job, better than probably anybody in the industry. And I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your attitude. I appreciate the fact that you're getting the results because you definitely deserve them. Before we bid adieu to our amazing fan base, millions and millions of people, what would be the last final thought that you would love to leave your first episode ever of a podcast? Which, by the way, I'm super proud of that. You're not the first person. I've had several people that was like the first podcast. I hope it's been fun. I hope it wasn't too like shut up
Oh
Chuck
no, this
type
was
stuff. And I hope it's,
amazing.
yeah, I try to make it fun, but I talk a lot too. So hopefully it was good. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'm going to cut up clips and put them out there and do all that stuff. But final thoughts before we say goodbye to, I don't even know what episode this is. It's like 130 something of Keeping It Rio. You've got the
Yeah,
next couple minutes to yourself. What you got?
final thoughts would just have to be that I am a very small town girl. I'm half Navajo and half German. So I'm white and Navajo, and I come from northern New Mexico on the Navajo reservation. I come from a tribe of 300 and something thousand, and my clan is Ashihi. It's the Salt people. And I come from a very small reservation, a very small town where there's no running water, no electricity, no, you know what I mean? Very bare minimum. And to be able to come to this point in my life where I'm living in a big city, I'm successful, basically helping run a roofing company under Justin's umbrella. If I can do it, my little self, my little Native American self from a reservation, you can too.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. I can't thank you enough, Melissa. This has been awesome. I was looking forward to this one for a while since RoofCon, or not. Oh my God, I just said RoofCon. The Blue Collar American Dream Conference that we were at. And I was so lucky because I just happened to be standing in the right place at the right time when Dave Meltzer was walking off the stage. And like some lady out front wanted to get his autograph. And I looked around the corner and was like, dude, let me make this happen for once in my life. Let me feel like I can do something important. And because of that, you got Melissa Be Kind. And I felt really amazed because it was cool to see that you were the one standing there looking to continue to educate yourself and to just, be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. So kudos to you, my friend. I look forward to watching you grow and develop in the industry. I'm going to stick around San Antonio, so we'll run into each other at some point for sure. And I hope it's not, bidding for the same homeowner's affection because I might be in trouble. But thank you for everything. If you ever need anything, I'm always available. And, hopefully this is the first of many and you get to be internet roofing famous just like you deserve and continue to inspire people. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, we appreciate it.
Chuck.
And until next time, cheesy tagline is keep on keeping it Rio. Later on.